Welcome, I'm the Math Farmer. This video is proudly sponsored by USA Tutorial Center. In this video, we shall solve these logarithm problems before us. Yes, the question says find the values of logarithms. We have number 1 there, or number A, logarithm of 0.25 base 8. Logarithm of 0.25 base 8. Now, if you watch here, or if you have watched my previous videos on logarithm, I told you that there are three things or three variables here in logarithm here: the number, the base, and what? The index or power. The number, the base, and what? The index. Three things. But in a question, they will give you two to find the other one. They will give you two to find the other one. So now, in this case now, they gave us the number and what? The base. They gave us the number. The number here is 0.25 and the base here is what? 8. That means they are asking us what? The power or the index. What are they asking us? What raised to the power of 8 to give you 0.25? What raised to the power of 8 to give you this? We don't know. We say let it be x. We don't know the number. We say let the number be x. So now, I'll not use this arrow to remind you that the base here is going to raise to the power of whatever we have here. That is 8 raised to the power of x will give us the number, which is 0.25. Now, this is in a decimal form. We have to convert it. We want to know the fractional equivalent of 0.25. So now we convert it. What we are going to have, 25 all over. The point here is 1. How many numbers after the decimal point? 2 numbers. We now face 2 zeros. Yes. So when you divide this by this, then is equivalent to this, or the same thing as this. So now, 25 can divide itself to give us 1. 100 divided by 25 will give us 4. So what we have remaining here is 8 raised to the power of x is equals to 1 over 4. So this is the same thing as 8 raised to the power of x is equals to 4 raised to the power of minus 1. Yes, reciprocal of 4 can be written as 4 raised to the power of minus 1. Now, let us break this 8 down. What times what will give us 8? At its inverse form, 2 raised to the power of 3, that is 2 into 3 will still give us 8. 2 raised to the power of 3 is same as 8. And the power here, we already have x here. That's what we have times 3x here, equals to 2 raised to the power what to give us 4? 2 raised to the power of 2. And we already have minus 1 here. So that means 2 times minus 1 is still give us minus 2 here. At this place, now the two bases are the same. The two bases are the same. You now discard. That means their powers are equal. What you have here remaining is 3x is equals to minus 2. So therefore, we divide both sides by the coefficient of x, which is 3 here. We divide both sides by 3. So our answer is going to be minus 2 over 3. What it implies is that 8 raised to the power of minus 2 over 3 will give us what? 0.25. Now, going to this one too, the number B part of it, the second one, we do the same here. We don't know. They give us the number and the base. The number and the base. They ask us to find the power. So we select the power by. I've used alphabet Y here. You can use any alphabet of your choice anyway. So now, I'll put this my arrow to tell you that 10 is going to raise to the power of whatever you have here, the variable we have here. So now, 10 raised to the power of y will give us 0.001. In this place now, what we have is decimal number. We have to convert it to fraction. We want to know the fractional equivalent of 0.001. So now, 10 raised to the power of y will give us, the number here is 1 divided by, the point here, 1. How many numbers after the point? How many numbers after the decimal point? 1, 2, 3. We put 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3. So now, moving forward, what we have here is 10 raised to the power of y is equals to, this can be written as 1000 raised to the power of minus 1. Yes. This means reciprocal of 1000. Reciprocal of 1000. So now, what we have here is 10. We cannot further break 10 down. So, you now ask yourself, how many times do you multiply 10 to give you 1000? How many times do you multiply 10 to give you 1000? 10 times 10 is what? 100. 100 times 10, it gives us 1000, 3 times. So that means 10 raised to the power of 3. And here we already have minus 1. That is 3 times minus 1 will give us minus 3. In this place now, their bases are the same. Their bases are the same. When their bases are the same, that means their powers are what? Equal. I can decide to cancel this way. What remaining here is y is equals to minus 3. Yes. What it means is that 10 raised to the power of minus 3 will give us 0.001. Yes. 10 raised to the power of minus 3 will give us 0.001. Now, moving to this third one, the number C part of it, what we have here, logarithm of root 7 base 7. Logarithm of root 7 base 7. If you watch here, they gave us the number and also the what? The base. They gave us the number and the base. The number here is root 7, while the base here is what? 7. That means what is missing here is what? The index or the power. So now we don't know the power. We now say let the power be what? X. You can use any alphabet of your choice. So now I'll put my arrow as usual so that you remember it, that whatever you have here is going to raise to the power of this. So what you have here is 7 raised to the power of x is equals to root 7. Now, we have 7 here, but the 7 we have is inside the root. How can we remove this root? How can we remove this root? We can say square both sides. Yes. In mathematics, if you want to remove square, you put square root. If you want to remove square root, you put square. Now say square root both sides. Square root both sides. Whatever you do here, you do it here. The reason why we are square both sides. Square both sides. The reason why we are squaring is that there's square root here. We want to remove the square root covering 7. So now we now have squaring both sides. Look at the square here is equals to, yes, root 7 squared. So now moving further, x times the power here, x times 2 here is 7 raised to the power of 2x is equals to square. We cancel square root. You know, square root, what happens here is that this is the same thing as 7 raised to the power of half. When you now square both sides, what you have here is 2. Yes. So 2 cancel 2, leaving us with 7 raised to the power of 1. That is what happened. This is another way you can do it to remove this square root. So now what we have here remaining is 7 raised to the power of 1. So now moving further, their bases now are the same. Their bases are the same. 7 as the base there, 7 as the base here. That means their powers are what? Equal. We discussed their base. What's remaining here as the power? 2x is equals to what? 1. We are looking for x. X is not yet alone. X is still attaching with 2, which is 2 here is the coefficient of x. So we say divide both sides by the coefficient, that number that is attaching with x. Divide both sides by coefficient of what? X. So when we now divide both sides, that means 2 is going to go here, 2 go here. So 2 will cancel 2 out here, remaining what? X here. So what remaining here is half. So what it implies is that 7 raised to the power of half, or 1 over 2, will give us a root 7. Now let's move to the next question here. Log 4 root 2. Log 4 root 2 base 2. Yes. Log 4 root 2 base 2. Here, they gave us the number, which is 4 root 2, and also the base. We are looking for the power or the index. We don't know. We say let it be x, or any alphabet you like. So now, then I will now put my arrow to remind you that whatever you have as the base is going to raise to the power of what you have here, which is 2 raised to the power of x equals to 4 root what? 2. Now, in this place, now we are having square root here. we're having square root here. We have to remove this square root. We have to remove this square root. Remember what we did here? We want to remove this square root. We now said what? Square both sides. Square both sides. Yes, so that the square will cancel out the square root. So now we do the same here. Because of this square root, now say square both sides. And whatever you are doing here to the right hand side, you must do it to the left hand side. That's why they are called equation. Here is equals to here. If you give here, if you square here by 2, give here 2. You give here square this side also what? 2. Because they are what? Equal. Whatever you are doing here, you do it here. So now, if you now square both sides, look at the square at this side. Coming to this side, we have 2 terms here, or 2 numbers here. Squared here. Now, in this place now, x times 2, we are going to have 2 raised to the power of 2x is equals to. If you watch here, we have 2 numbers. This square here is for both for 4 and also for both and also for this one. Let me separate it so you see what I'm saying. Now, what it means is 4. Collect your own square, and root 2. Collect your own square. Yes, both of them has it. Both of them has the 2 here. Now, moving further, what you have here is 2 raised to the power of 2x is equals to, yes, 4 raised to the power of 2. 4 raised to the power of 2. What does it mean? 4 times 4. 4 times 4. That is 4 into 2 will give us what? 16. Times. Here, square will cancel out square root, leaving us with what? 2 inside here. So we have cleared out this square root. Now, moving again, 2 raised to the power of 2x is equals to 16 times 2 is entering as what? 32. Now, 2 is already in its lowest form. We'll write it again. How many times do you multiply 2 to give you 32? How many times do you multiply 2 to give us 32? 2 times 2, 4. 4 times 2, 8. 8 times 2, 16. 16 times 2 is what? 32. That is 5 times. So it's something as 2 raised to the power of 5. 2 raised to the power of 5. Now, their bases are now the same. We can discard. That means their power or the index are equal. What we have as index here is 2x equals to 5. Now, we are looking for x. X is not yet alone. Still attached with 2, the coefficient here. We divide both sides by 2. By 2. 2 will cancel out 2, leaving us with what? X is equals to what? 5 over 2. 5 over 2. This is improper fraction. It is the same thing as 2 whole number 1 over 2. So now, what it implies is that 2 as the base here, 2 raised to the power of 5 over 2, 5 divided by 2, will give us 4 root 2. Yes, that is your answer. Thank you for watching. Do well to follow my page on Facebook, Math Farmer, TikTok, Math Farmer, Instagram, Math Farmer. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel, Math Farmer 2. Don't forget that this video is proudly sponsored by USA Tutorial Center. Thank you for watching. Bye bye. See you next time.